Hey, I see you're back. Let's go ahead and start on page 188 in the book. So let's see if you tried those problems already. Hopefully you have. And that way when we go ahead and go through it, I'm going to go through them a little faster just because I'm assuming that you've tried them already. Okay? So for number 7, it says find the value of 54 8/100ths divided by 6 4/10. So if that's the case, we're going to go ahead. Our dividend always comes first, so we'll have 54 8/100ths, right? And we're having 6 4/10ths as our divisor. Now, we just learned that we don't want a decimal in our divisor, so we're going to have to move that decimal, okay? So, if that's the case, we're going to add our swoopies, and again, we just want the decimal out of the divisor. So, we're going to put it at the end. And we know that if we move it one time here, we have to move it one time here. Like so. Okay? So what we're really going to end up dividing is 64. And actually, I'm going to erase that. So I'm going to move it up a little bit to make sure we have enough space so that you can see it. 64. And we have 540 and 8/10. Okay? And now we're going to solve normally. So, since this is the case, how many times we're going to ask ourselves, can 64 go into 5? Which it cannot, right? So we're going to place a 0 here. 64 cannot go into 54. Let's place another 0. But 64 can go into 540. So you should be asking yourself, how many times do I think that 64 can go into 540? And you will be trying this on the sides of your paper. So when you do, you're going to see that it's 8, right? So 64 times 8, that equals 512. You're going to go ahead and subtract. 0 minus 2 you cannot do. If there's more on the floor, you have to go next door. This 4 becomes a 3. This 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So you should have 28. 5 minus 5 is 0. And we don't have to really write the 0. Okay? What did we forget to do here? Did you notice? Did you catch it? Check your work. We didn't put our decimal up here in our quotient, right? Make sure that you always put your decimal up there so that you don't forget. Okay? Now, from here, we realize 64 can't go into 28. So we're going to bring our 8 down. And we're going to figure out how many times can 64 go into 288. It is 4 times. And we'll have 256. We're going to subtract. When you subtract, 8 minus 6 is 2. 8 minus 5 is 3. Right? 64 can't go into 32 and we don't have a remainder of 0 yet. So we're going to add our 0 at the end because it's not going to change our dividend so that we can bring it down and hopefully finish solving this thing. Right? So from here, how many times can 64 go into 320? That's what you're asking yourself. You're trying it on the side of your paper. You will realize that it should be 5 times. Okay. From there, 64 times 5 equals 320 exactly. You subtract, you'll have a remainder of 0, which means our quotient should be 8 45/100. Okay. Let's go ahead to number 8. So for number 8, it says Muna incorrectly divides 48.6 by 75/100. Describe her mistake. Let's look at what she did. We don't really even need to look any further. Here's the problem. All in there. What did Muna do wrong? Right? Her division, we didn't even get to that part yet. What did she do wrong here? Do you notice it? Does it look like what we did for number 7? It does not. Muna did not, look at this, her divisor, right? She moved her decimal 2 times here and only 1 time here. That doesn't keep it equivalent. You cannot do that, or else your answer is going to be a decimal off. Try it. Go grab a calculator and you divide this. You're not going to get her answer. Okay, you got to make sure that you move the decimal the correct amount of times. So Muna did not use the power of 10 correctly. Okay, you must move it to the same amount from your divisor and in your dividend. Okay. All right. Let's look at number 9. Number 9 says a pile of soil has a volume of 67 and 5 feet cubed. A worker's wheelbarrow holds 2 and 25 feet cubed of soil when full. How many times does the worker need to fill the wheelbarrow to move all of the soil to a vegetable garden? Show your work, right? So here, we have the total amount of 67 and 5/10, right? And we're dividing that. Oops. Didn't give myself enough space. And notice that I have a dry erase marker because I can't erase. So hopefully you're using a pencil too, right? We're taking the total amount of soil that we have and we're dividing it into the groups that the wheelbarrow can hold to see how many times, which is our quotient, how many times it's going to go back and forth. So from here, that decimal again though, it's in our divisor, right? So here, we're going to have to move it 2 times. So it'll be at the end. Here, we're going to move it 2 times again, right? From there, you got to fill in, well, what number do I fill in here? Because I don't have another place value. That number would be a 0. Okay? So what we're really going to do is end up dividing 225 into 6,750. Okay? So here, we ask ourselves again, can 225 fit in 6? Nope. You can place your 0 there if you need to. Does it fit in 67? Nope. But it will fit into 675. From there, we got to figure out how many times. How many times can I fit this in there? Oh, I think it's 3 times. And when I do 225 times 3, I'll get 675. I'm left the remainder of 0. Now, there's 2 things you can think of here. You can say, hey, this 3 is in my tens place. So this doesn't represent 3. It represents 3 tens, which is 30. If you didn't think about that like this, just keep solving it because we haven't used all of the numbers. So from here, you could say, okay, I have 0. I'm going to bring my 0 down. How many times is 225 going to 0? 0 times, right? 225 times 0 is 0. So when you subtract, you'll still be left with 0, right? And so that way you can actually see the 30. Here, your solution or your quotient should be 30 times. It will take 30 times for you to go ahead and take that wheelbarrow back and forth to get all that soil gone. Okay? So again here, you can go ahead and you can go back through the video if you have questions. If you need anything, again, please come see me at office hours Tuesday through Thursday from 2 to 3:25. Or you can message me on Canvas or Remind. Okay? All right. Have a good one.